Hello everyone. Looks like this is going to be my first repair video. Today we're going to be working on a Sager NP8957, or also known as a Clevo P950RF. This laptop was purchased back in May of 2019. We got it with a 1-year warranty. Today what we're going to do is we're going to fix the CPU fan that's making noise. It actually comes as a whole assembly, a heatsink, and the CPU slash GPU fans are all pre-assembled. The part cost me $120 plus shipping. It's relatively simple to change out. It's just time consuming, and you have to know the little tips and tricks to getting the case off. So if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and switch over to that. Alright, so here we have the top of the case, nothing major here. The bottom is where we want to be at. They're all Phillips head screwdrivers, or Phillips head screws. And let's just pick a bit. That should work out well. That does. Now, what I like to do when I take these out, if they like to come out on their own, set them out in the pattern in which I take them out. So what you're going to see here is I skipped a screw, which is right here, somewhere in there. There it is. And see how I'm lining them up? Now, once I get all of these screws removed, and sometimes they're a little bit finickier than others, I'm going to have to pop the keyboard off so that I can get to the 5 screws that are underneath there. And what I will need to do is find one of these bits, maybe go collect a screw or a paper clip so that I can press on the keyboard from these 2 holes. Now, like I said, if you're into fixing your own computers and your laptops, then this will be a nice video for you. Apparently that screw does not want to just fall out. There we go. Nice little gentle tap. There should be 3 screws left. Now 2 on this side. You'll also need a very thin plastic card. Maybe a guitar pick. That one's gonna fight me too, I know it. There it goes. Now, you see the layout. That matches, so as long as I have the vents towards the back, all the screws go back in exactly where I had them. Now, open this up a little bit, and I'm hoping the camera can pick this up. It's not the best camera in the world, and I apologize for that. That should be small enough. Nope. Maybe it's awfully small. Nope. So let me pause this and go grab a paper clip. Okay, and we're back. And I found something that will work. So what you do is you place it in the hole, like so, and have your hand on the other side of the keyboard. And you can maybe see that I'm pushing on the keyboard here. And you just push until it pops. And be careful. Now, usually I can get away with just doing one, but this laptop is more of a 2 type. And you grab up here, just get your fingertips under the keyboard, lifting up gently, don't yank on it. The bottom slides out from underneath. There's these little tabs right here that go down to a little groove. And if we move this back, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, and there's a 5th one under there that we'll get to. Let's just start with these. Now these go through the top case, through, some of them go through the motherboard, and then they bolt into the back case, and that's the part we want to take off. So let's take these out, setting them out in the pattern at which we removed them. Now you'll notice all these screws, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but all these screws are exactly the same size. So it doesn't really matter if I get them mixed up. The other reason I do this is so I can look at the pattern and find out, because there will be other holes and I won't be 100% certain where I got it from. A lot of people take pictures. There's that other screw. I don't want to stop every time I turn around and take a picture of every screw that comes out. So here's my layout. Now I can slip the keyboard back under there, and I'm just going to gently press all the way up to the corners. That way it just stays in place, but I can still come along and grab it underneath. Now the next part, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on camera very well, but there's an edge right here that goes, you see that black line that's right there? That's the edge, and I need to pop this tray part out this way, away from the other edge part. I'm going to see if I can get off there. See if I can use my old Home Depot Menards card to get down in there. Apparently not. So let's use my very used card that I can wiggle down in there. I usually start at a corner and I just gently slide it down, and I keep sliding it down until I can get things to release. Now let's switch back to the Menards card. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure, just kind of wiggling it down there. And now I'm getting this end over here that you cannot see. once it starts to let go, generally you can just slide your fingers down in there. There we go. I'm going to set this down and lift it off. And you see, that's all there is to it. That's the tray. Set that aside someplace safe. Now, here's the part that I need to replace. And I have everything. I already have the new assembly, and there's a couple tricks with this one. First, there's a lot of screws. So, generally I start at the top, work my way down. These screws are definitely different than the case screws that we pulled out. And again, I'm going to bring these out in the pattern. And yes, I've already replaced one of these before on my laptop, actually. I have the same model as my girlfriend's laptop. We bought them to replace our gaming computers that were older and out of date. Now, you want to peel up this tape. This tape is here to hold this wire down. And as you notice, it goes above the metal part of the heatsink assembly because all this is coming off. And what you don't want to do is get this wire under that metal. That's one of the reasons why the tape is there. This screw can be a bit of a pain. There we go. And then this is the CPU fan. These are the GPU fans. The CPU is right here. And I'm unscrewing the GPU heatsink assembly now. And these are pressure tabs, so that even pressure is applied and you get a good flat mount. I've got 3 more screws to remove over here. 1, 2, and 3. Then we have to unplug 3 wires. Not this one. This one stays here. So we gently lift up on the tape, like so. Kind of fold it back a little bit. Pull the wires up and unplug. Come over here. Gently get under the tape. Now, I don't know if the new assembly comes with tape, so I may have to reuse the tape that we have. I'll just stick that right there. And it's quite sticky. your time. Gently work it up. There we go. And I can get my fingers around that one. Let's put that down. There's one. Got stuck to the tape. That one comes over here. And we've got this one over here. And boom. Everything's unplugged. Everything's unbolted. Now for the really scary part. You have to pry this up because there are thermal pads that kind of stick in it here. So what I like to do is get just underneath here, right in between the hard drive. Yours may not have a hard drive, we added that later. And just come around, gently prying upwards, maybe using the card. Pop it up. Then once it lets go, try not to get your fingers in any compound. And as you can see, it is now removed. One of the pads decided to stay right here. So we'll take that off. Everything else seems, oh no, here's another pad that decided to stay. Let's double check. Okay, looks clean enough to me. I'm gonna set this down over here. And let's get out some Q-tips. And use some isopropyl alcohol. Just pour a little bit in here. That was a little too much. That was great. Good job, me. And we're going to clean off all of this old thermal compound that was applied on here by me earlier when I was trying to diagnose if it was a bad fan or if there was just gunk in the fan housings. Get that all cleaned off. There's one. Oh wow, that really got thick. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. Ugh. Messy. This is why we grab a few. And make sure we get as much cleaned up as we can. The new heatsink fan assembly comes with thermal paste already on there, and normally I would throw on some grizzly paste because I feel that it's better than factory pre-applied stuff. It looks like that's all cleaned up. Let that dry for a little bit. Try and not make a huge mess with the alcohol again. There we go. Set that aside. But in this case, I'm out of thermal paste when I had put this back together the last time. So we're going to go ahead and stick with the factory stuff. And go ahead and toss that aside. And it looks like it did not come with a new tape. That's fine. Now, everything seems to be dry, cleaned up. Here's thermal paste and thermal paste that's pre-applied. Here's our thermal pads that we don't want to touch because they adhere to all these nice little sections to keep things cool. Everything seems to be in order. So, keeping the cables away. Just going to gently line this up where it needs to go. And try and move that wire out of there. See how it wants to go under? Yeah, that's rude. And before I put any pressure on it, there we go. That's all lined up. Let's get our tape out from underneath. Be gentle. I'll have to grab the other piece of tape that goes for here. But all our holes, oops, how did you end up over there? Hey, this is why we check. And we don't squish anything down yet. There's that. Wires out, wires out. Wires out. And let's line up those holes again. Good. Something seems to be in the way. Let's see if I can identify what that something is. That side's down. There. That's better. And now, of course, I got the tape underneath there. So, good job there. Yeah, it's laying down flat now. Still feels a bit off. There. Now, I believe I got everybody where they're supposed to be. Feels good. What I like to do is I like to start with the CPU and you'll see I'm backing it out. I like to wait for it to click if it doesn't feel like it's going in properly. Little piece of fuzzy there. Gently glide that down in there. Check the tension. It doesn't need to be torqued down like you're putting a new wheel on a car. Just enough. And then I move to the GPU here, and I go diagonal. I start one corner, get it snug. Then I come over to the diagonal corner of it, and get it good and snug. And I go back up to the top corner. And the bottom corner. So now I have the heat elements fastened down. Let's get the fans taken care of. Now, yes, I haven't plugged the fans back in yet. I like to make sure the wires stay out of my way during this process. And a couple more screws right in there. Is that one? There you go. All right. So now everybody's plugged in that way. Let's get the wires plugged in. Yeah, that's the correct side. Don't force anything. This one I probably should have tucked under there already, but it's okay. Gently click it in. This one goes right here. Let's take a look at the old one, see where it was. See how it was shaped. Okay, I see. So it went over and made a turn. Like so. Then the tape that you stay off there. The tape that decided to stay here can peel off like so. And set you back down over there. And like so. Now, everybody's screwed in. Fans spin. Excellent. Now, let's get our tray back on. So we want to make sure our exhaust is where the exhaust is. Get that lined up. Gently push down. Bunch of little clicks. Okay, there we go. And we'll open this back up. Gently pop up the keyboard again. And we will be able to put in our top screws. In the exact order at which they were removed. Gently slide that over there. Okay. Now we can gently slide the keyboard back under there. Check everything's flush. Good. And now let's put these screws back in. Then we can fire it up. Test to make sure everything's working just as we should have. I would also like to give a little bit of a review at the end of the video about these laptops. So if you stick around, I will give you my 2 cents on the quality and performance of at least this model of Sager gaming laptop. Oh, and also notice I don't have any spare screws left over. Yeah, you know who you are. There's people that I've worked with in the many years that I've done this, and they always end up with more screws than they started with. Alright. Let's see if this thing still has a battery charge. May not. Oh, it does. Wonder if I can. Alright. Control center. Fan control. Well, the CPU fan was spinning for a moment. Let's just fire them up. Now that one's definitely blowing out. Oh yeah. Lots of air is being cycled through. Cancel that. Cancel. Automatic. They spin back down. Looking good. Looking very good. Alright, let me shut this down. The girlfriend's computer is now fixed. There we go. And alright, so hopefully that was helpful to you. You could use a little screw kit such as the one that I've got. I believe I picked it up at Micro Center. It was really cheap. I wanted it for another project, but it comes with the handle and a whole bunch of little bits, a little flex piece, and a little magnifying glass. Obviously it came in very handy and helped me out quite a bit here. No, this isn't the first time I've opened these up. My laptop, while it was under warranty, had the CPU fan start making noise. Sager, when I called them and gave them the serial number, they said, "Oh yeah, it's under warranty. Here, let's RMA it, send it back." And I said, "Well, unfortunately, I can't be without my laptop. Is there any way you could just send me the part? I'll buy the part, send me the part, and I'll fix it. That's fine with me." And the guy said, "Oh, I'll do you one better. You pay for the part, we'll send it to you. You send us back the defective part, and we'll refund you the money for the new part, thus fixing it under warranty." And they shipped it out immediately. I couldn't have been happier. As soon as I sent the defective part back, I immediately got a refund. The only thing I had to pay for was the shipping cost, but that was minuscule. As far as the quality of the laptop, we ordered them based on the fact that they came with 16 gigs of RAM. It was an RTX 2070 iCore or i7 uh, 9th gen, 500 gig NVMe SSD, has another second NVMe slot. Also has, as you saw, the SSD slot for a 2.5-inch hard drive or 2.5-inch SSD drive. So we later had upgraded it after we purchased it because they allow you to take the laptop apart and do your own upgrades if you're comfortable with it. It won't void the warranty unless you actually break something. So say you went to take the cover off and you didn't know to pop the keyboard out like I was showing you. I needed that stupid little pin to go through. And you just started prying on the bottom case, you'd break the case, you'd probably bend the hell out of it. That wouldn't be covered under warranty. So far, I've had the laptops since mine was in April, hers was in May of 2019. We only got the default 1-year warranty, like I said, because we could fix our own stuff. And the extended warranty for 2 years, I think, was almost another $300. So we would fall into that 2-year range. Well, we would have paid $300, had to send it back or do the cross shipment thing. And for a part that was 120 bucks. And I believe this model, that CPU fan is kind of a known issue because the GPU fans never make a noise, and it always starts out with this faint buzzing noise. It's very faint. It makes you think that you have to go through and blow the dust out. And I did, but that did not fix it. When I had a part, I could spin the fan and just barely hear the bearing kind of grinding. So immediately I called and ordered in a new one, knowing full well that it was out of warranty. They still checked to make sure it was out of warranty. They didn't just take my word for it. They still wanted the serial number and they still wanted to check. Their customer service, you call, you get right through. You email, you get right through. Email in, depending on what time they're in California. Uh, if you do it later in the evening, chances are you won't hear back till the next day. But if you do it first thing in the morning, once they open, generally they get to you within a couple of hours. So I have zero complaints with their equipment. Matter of fact, as soon as they come out with the RTX 3070 series, we're probably going to upgrade to those and have whatever model Sager brings out. I cannot say enough for these laptops. Uh, yes, I just had to fix it, but we do use our laptops quite a bit. Like I said, we bought these to replace our gaming towers. We actually had PCs, full cards. They had some AMD 8-core black box edition with the AMD RX 480 video cards, 16 gigs of RAM, hard drives. I don't even think we bothered with optical drives. Maybe we did, but we decided to, because we now are liking to go places, and as long as these have power, these do really, really well. They're not as powerful as a PC tower RTX 2070. So, yeah. As far as the repair goes, it's relatively easy. You just have to be gentle with popping the case off and making sure you undo all the screws. But hopefully this has helped you out, and hopefully I don't have to do too much editing on this video. Thanks, and good luck. Have a great day.